himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunday nights, which only means one thing. It's the iGPFun Super Formula Lights Round 11, Season 2 of 2024, live from COTA, the Circuit of Americas. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be thrilling. We've got 20 corners, 3.427 miles of action that these guys have got to tackle. It is an evening of 25 laps. As you know, we've got the purple zone that runs all the way down to turn 10, which is the left-hander just before the point in the top right-hand corner of the track map. It is single file, no active overtakes during that period of time. I'm James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Edward Hunter, who's joining me as Mr. Ewan O'Leary takes the evening off. Let's bring you up to date with the championship standings. Now, we're only going to cover the top 20 because realistically, it's not even the top 20 that have an opportunity. Now, this is with one drop week applied. Lee Aberdeen is out in front on 3.67 with Brent Ruiz on 3.56. Tony Jimenez on 3.42 with Luca Varani on 3.40. Jakub Oleszewski on 3.31. Now, they are the main protagonists who mathematically have got an opportunity to take the championship. Everybody below that, Andy Flint, Tommy Maru, Raheem Hakim, Evan Way, Dennis Cornu, Nicholas Westman, Marcius Putniks, Mackenzie Roon, Eddie Amos and Simon Fessi are out of the champions. Simon Froelich, Giovanni Salito, Adam Townsman and Pedro Suarez. That is the top 20 at the moment. But it is, as I say, down to Jakub Oleszewski, the top 5 who have got the opportunity to take the championship. There is a lot depending on it, but the opportunity is still there. In the rookies, it is Tommy Mari, who has won the rookie championship this year. He's out in front on 383. Nobody can catch him. In the 2.5K championship, Oscar Artinanu is out in front with Giovanni Salito there. If you apply 1, Oscar is winning by 18 points. But if you apply 2, Giovanni's winning by 15. So there's still all to play with for in the 2.5K. John McKenzie's in there, and Joe Aguilera with Chris Trott. They're the 5 with their 2 drop weeks applied, have still got the opportunity. Now, in the team standings, overall, Modern MRP, Modern Racing Prince with Jakub Oleszewski and Evan Way are out in front with 5.97. And again, if you apply the drop weeks, they're still out in front by a long way. Delta Sport behind that with Raheem Hakim and Mackenzie Roon are in second with XPD of Anthony Jimenez, Tony Jimenez and Joe Aguilera in third on 470. So the team standings a little bit more cut and dry with Jakub Oleszewski and Evan Way, but it is the drivers' standings that we will be keeping an eye on. Brent Ruiz has got to do some work. He has got a 14-point gap back from Lee Aberdeen with the way the drop weeks have fallen. So there's still a lot to play for here between Lee Aberdeen and Brent Ruiz. Let's bring Ed into the booth. Ed, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. It's great to be here at our AGP here at Circuit of the Americas, or COTA, as it's affectionately known. And yeah, being the penultimate round could well be a crucial round in the Drivers' Championship, especially with Lee Aberdeen looking to sew up a round early. But he needs a couple of things to go his way with the other 4 contenders for that to happen. But he is qualified, I think, on the first 2, on either row 1 or row 2 of the grid in second or third. So I think he's looking very, very good with his title contenders a little bit further back. Oleszewski, I think, was the closest in 4th on the grid.
Yeah, Lee Aberdeen has qualified in second place there. And it is the grid. Raheem Hakim is out in front. Lee Aberdeen in second. Mackenzie Roon in third with Jakub Oleszewski in 4th. Tony Jimenez in 5th. Luca Varani in 6th. Alex Pasquet in 7th. Andy Flint in 8th. Brent Ruiz all the way down in 9th. Not a great start. Evan Way in 10th. Robert Ridgway in 11th. And Dennis Cornu is in 12th. Joseph Lucas in 13th. Marcus Putnieks 14th. Kevin Byland in 15th. Clark Williams 16th. Tommy Moray down in 17th. Jack Williams 18th. Eddie Amos is down in 19th. Patrick Williams in 20th. Jeans Carval in 21st. Patrick Pieper in 22nd. Adam Towsworth 23rd. And Marcello Kessler down in 24th. Then you've got Erwin Stilmakens in 25th. Oscar Artinano in 26th. Matthew Gracie in 27th. Giovanni Solito in 28th. Dorian Oruro in 29th, Maximilian Gerber in 30th, then Kevin Zwemstra 31st, and Philip Lucas is the final man on the grid. So we've got 32 cars that will be taken to the grid, and they will all be trying to take it to Raheem Hakim. Remex, oh hi, he says in the YouTube chat. Hi to you as well. Don't forget, if you are cheering on any particular person, let us know in the YouTube chat, and we will try and let you know what is happening with them. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz that you can do for free here on YouTube before we get this 25 lap race up and running and ready to go. The light will be coming on. Just waiting for Brent Ruiz and Robert Ridgway to take to the grid. They will be there very, very shortly, I'm sure, because they've only got about 15 seconds. So they do not have long. There is Robert Ridgway. Where is Brent Ruiz? Let's hopefully that man will get on to the grid. I've got a funny feeling he may have just missed it. We've got 5 lights. We are green, 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 and a massive shock straight at the beginning because Brent Ruiz has not made the grid on this final round 11. It is Raheem Hakim out in front. There's been a little bit of carnage going back into Coda. They are heading off now down through the assist section here based off Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone, but it is Raheem Hakim out in front doing an absolute stellar job. He's got away off the beginning. Don't forget, no active overtakes apart from when they go through turn 10, which they will be doing very, very shortly. It's now the right of turn. They're on their way through turn 8, and then it'll be turn 9, and then Raheem Hakim will open it up. This is where you can go from turn 10 to turn 11. You're free to race, and at the moment the man Hakim is out in front here. Everybody got away apart from Brent Ruiz, who is not on the grid.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's at the end of the pit lane. I think Philip Lucas has joined him because he hasn't got going either. But yeah, that's 2 gone, and one of them a title contender then. So big, big setback for Brent Ruiz, and that could well be the end of his Drivers' Championship challenge. But meanwhile, Raheem Hakim, as you say, James, absolutely controlling things at the front. And Aberdeen holding on to second, but somebody going off track at the end of turn 10.
Yeah, so we can see here all the action blowing up. That was Mackenzie Roon, who unfortunately has gone off the side of the circuit. But Raheem Hakim, Lee Aberdeen, Jakub Oleswitsky, Luca Varani in there as well. The man himself, the boss man, here having a look at the inside of Tony Jimenez. He's going to go all the way around the outside. Is he going to tackle him on the way through 16 and 17? He is not. He settles in once more behind this. Now, news of the evening, some big shock horror that has come out from Luca Varani's race notes here as well. He has said that some drivers are discussing pit stop for tyres. Some have not had the tyres get to the end of the big accident in the back.
Lapping has sent a skyward there. Was it Patrick Pieper?
No, Jack Williams, he starts it off, but there's contact behind Tommy Mare, I believe. There is Jack. He gets up in the air. There's the contact there, and there is what I believe to be Tommy. If he is not Tommy off the side of the circuit. So who is that down with him there? I don't believe, unless that is Mr. Patrick, it's not Patrick Pieper. When my timing software wants to actually behave itself, it is there. We'll try and decipher who that is. It is Mr. Pieper there, who ends up going up into the air. He comes around the corner, nowhere to go. Car's in front, unfortunately, and then Patrick Pieper goes up into the air. So Patrick has jumped back to the pits straight away. There, Jack Williams has gone off the side. And, oh, Jack, what have you been up to, dear sir? As he's made a mistake as well. It just looks like he's had some issue there with hardware, because that is a very unusual way of doing that. The gap's out in front, 1.75 seconds. Raheem Hakeem Yakobolazwinski in third. He's got to try and get past Lee Aberdeen, Mackenzie Root, Tony Jimenez, Luca Varani, and also Evan Way, who is currently side by side at the moment with Alex Patsky. He's just about to go up the inside of turn 15. Different lines in Coda. That's what makes it interesting and exciting for me. Turn 1, there's a different line. Turn 11, there's a different line. Turn 15, there's multiple lines as well. There's a lot these drivers can do on this race circuit here, Ed, that's going to really make a difference to their racing.
Yeah, especially that complex through 12, 13, 14, 15, those sort of tight, twisty sections just to get end of Sector 2 and beginning of Sector 3. That's really where you can take many different lines, and that's why we see so many Z3 cars going side by side, like we saw Evan Way and Alex Patsky doing, and it looks like they're not done yet because Patsky is having another dive up the inside, that uphill run into turn 1, but he loses it completely.
It's gone round at the top of the hill. Oh man, I thought he was on there for that overtake to stick, and he just didn't get it there. What about Dennis Gorn, who's battling through with Robert Ridgway, who's got Andy Flint in front of that, and Evan Way in front. They are starting to spread out. Raheem Hakeem out in front a long way, 2.1 seconds over Lee Aberdeen. Yakobolazwinski 1.1 back, and then we've got the Mackenzie Root, Jimenez, Varani with Evan Way just about joining on to the end of it. Andy Flint, Rob Ridgway, Dennis Cordu all battling out. Marcius Petnieks and Eddie Amos still having a battle further down. They're in 14th and 15th in. Eddie Amos is in that Tron-like livery in front of Marcius Petnieks there again. So great action taking place, and this is one of the things with Kota, as Luca Varani's just about to go up the inside of Tony Jimenez. He did get it done onto the back straight of between 11 and 12. That long back straight does allow them to overtake, but there is discussions about tailwinds down that long straight, so people might end up going into turn 12 at a more rapid rate of knots where they wouldn't normally be doing that.
Exactly, so sensitive in a single seater, the aerodynamics, and just enough of a gust of wind, it can be enough to sort of throw you off in the braking zone and sort of just completely spin the car around. We just saw Patsky spinning at turn, well, that was mainly because I think he lit the rear tyres up, but also it's this kind of thing that can happen when the wind is quite sensitive. You often see people moaning about it in touring cars and being brushed off because touring cars don't have as much aerodynamics or aren't as reliant on the single seaters, but in single seaters it absolutely can be a factor, especially in qualifying and even during the race. But we're looking at Jimenez and Varani, two of the title contenders. Now Varani's ahead. Remember, he is second in the points at the moment. That's before the drop score is applied. So he's got just over, I think, about 26 points that he might not be taking advantage of. At the moment, he's looking to sort of equal that with fifth position, but he needs to make his way past Mackenzie Roon later in this race in order to get back into the mix. But as Olzelski, I think he having got past Roon earlier, his target is really to pass Aberdeen and get in this fight with Hakeem for victory, which is probably a big ask, but Jakob has been able to show some good form in the past, so let's see if he can that's a good use here. Lap time's looking pretty competitive, but Hakeem looking controlling out front, 2.9 seconds to the good.
Yeah, he's absolutely dominating. Lee Aberdeen is behind there with Yakobolazwinski now only half a second away here. Mackenzie Roon further back from that one. Then Luca Varani has got Tony Jimenez behind him. Jimenez putting him under pressure. He's looking at making the move on the inside. There is Varani as they're coming down into turn 11. Jimenez arriving, not quite getting it in deep enough. Now we're going round turn 13, the right-hander. Again, Jimenez trying to get on to Luca Varani. He's not making it through. Now, this is another area that they can, if they can get the run out of turn 15, be able to make that move, and he hasn't got it there either. So, unfortunately for Tony Jimenez, he's just going to have to stay where he is currently on the grid and see what happens. We've seen Luca Varani come through, start making moves through the field. A very consistent young man, very able and willing want to try and go through where he can, but he will not rush and do anything he shouldn't be doing. The grid is quite spread out up that front end with Hakeem Aberdeen and Oleswinski. Mackenzie Rune closing in on Oleswinski here. We did expect the grid to start getting spread out a little bit at Kota. It is quite a long circuit for these little Super Formula lights, so we'll have to just see how it plans out as we go into the next 20 laps here.
Exactly, of course, everyone managing their tyres, especially it's such a tyre sensitive sort of circuit, that fast flowing sector 1 that's based off of Maggots Beggots Chapel section at Silverstone, as you say, when it was designed all those years ago back in 2012. Well, it was designed before 2012, but it was of course first used then for Grand Prix racing. But yeah, that really takes a lot of life out of the tyres essentially for when you push them quite hard. So the drivers will be trying to conserve what they have and thinking about how they can best use their tyres later in the race. But Rune here, they're still getting a nice toe down the back straight off the back of Olszewski, and the Polish driver is going to have his mirrors full going into turn 12.
Yeah, he definitely is here, and it's all about what he's going to be able to do. Tony Jimenez still cannot clear Varani. Evan Way side by side with Andy Flint. Way's not giving it up. They almost make contact. I believe there may have been a little bit of a tyre bang. Andy Flint again trying to run around the outside. Way trying to again make sure he doesn't get there as they're going into 15, and Flint does make it through in the end. Robert Ridgway now pressurising Evan Way on that run. Round 16, 17, 18. They're going to be coming into 19. The left-hander on board with Ridgway. We go now. He's got Way in front, Flint in front of that, down into turn 20, the left-hander, and then the run up that start, finish straight. This is where Ridgway can really put the power down in that Super Formula Light, use the draft as best as possible, but Evan Way's getting the draft from Andy Flint as well.
Oh, something happened to Flint there.
Flint's got a slowdown. Andy Flint must have a slowdown there, because he has just lost a position to Way, Ridgway, Cornu, and then he slots in. So Evan Way must have got a slowdown. What's going on with Rob Ridgway here? He's trying to get through on Evan Way through the section of 6, 7, 8 and 9. Very difficult to do, very high paced here, Ed. Not an ideal position to be going too wide in.
No, not really, unless you have a lot more grip than the driver you're fighting against. But yeah, I think what happened to Flint was that he just went too far over the inside curb at turn 19. And that may have been what caused the slowdown there. Or he went a little bit too wide at 20, but I definitely thought he took a lot of curb at 19. But this battle for 7th position continues then, and the Way will have to get defensive because Ridgway looks very, very fired up now in that number 17 car.
Yeah, Robert Ridgway, of course, a part of Ridgway setups. If you haven't had a look, go and have a look. He does setups for Super Formula Lights as well, so you can go and have a look and see and reach out to Robert about his setups and see what he can do. Mackenzie Rune, Jakub Olszewski, Luca Varani, Tony Jimenez, Evan Way, Robert Ridgway and Dennis Cornu. Andy Flint recovering, but he's got Joseph Lucas and Clark Williams behind him. Alex Patsky, of course, spun out in turn 1. He's trying to recover back through the field. We've even got Kevin Byland having a right little ding-dong down here with Giovanni Solito. These guys coming into 13th and 14th. Byland trying to make it round the outside. It looks like he has made it round the outside. Kevin Byland, take a bow, sunshine. An absolutely stellar move going round the outside of turn 13 and 14.
Yeah, Byland using the Brawn GP livery, it looks like, doing the ring of death at 13 and 14, just about staying on track too. So far out to able to pull that one off. But Giovanni Solito has now got bigger problems in the form of is that Gracie just behind him.
Yeah, Matthew Gracie is tucked in right behind Giovanni, and Gracie does go through. He's on the right-hand side of your screen in that 707 white MRP machine. He has made the move over Giovanni Solito. That's the different lines. You can take the wider line into one or the tighter line into one, depending on how you want to run the track. And he has got the job done over Giovanni Solito. So Matthew Gracie is through once more. The middle battle of Lucas and also Alex Patsky is hotted up as Alex has got a lot closer down through the S's and is now coming out of turn 11 here. This is the thing, making sure that you're in the right place to make use of the draft that you'll be given between 11 and 12.
Exactly. It's all about planning ahead and positioning and knowing when to pull out the draft as well at the right moment. If you pull out too early, then you won't have enough momentum to get through. And here's Patskay, a good illustration of that, able to slot himself up the inside of Lucas, but Lucas tries to hang it around the outside and get the inside for 13, which he's able to do. So Patskay once more has to do the ring of death around the outside, and this will give him the inside, the tight hairpin of turn 15. He's able to block the inside and keep Lucas behind him.
Yeah, Lucas didn't manage to get through that time around, unfortunately for him. And that is off the airpod on the left-hand side of Joseph Lucas's machine as we're coming into turn 19, the left-hander, before we go into the final turn 20. There's still a lot and all to play for here. I can tell you one thing, Jakub Oleszewski's not getting really close. He's starting to pull the gap in. He's going in and out, in and out. It's reaching a second, coming down to 8 temps, reaching a second, coming down to 8 temps. The same to be said for Mackenzie Roon. He's got it down to about half a second, as you can see on the left, but it does go back out again. There's certain sections that Oleszewski's quicker, there's certain sections that also Mackenzie Roon is quicker. So you can see Oleszewski is slower in sectors 1, but I'm expecting that to pick up a little bit as we start going in through sectors 2 and as we go on, because again, Roon, the gap is in and out, in and out. It's like he's almost got a little bit of a rope, then he pulls it back in. Now he's got to throw it out a little bit further to get hold of a little bit more, but he's just not getting quite close enough to Oleszewski. The draft's playing effect now, about half a second, 4-8, 4-7, 4-6. He's not going to be enough going down into turn 11. If there is a tailwind, it's not playing a massive part on Mackenzie Roon's car. However, it is playing a part on Dennis Cornu, because there is Robert Ridgway right next to us. Oh, Ridgway's late. Cornu's late on the brakes as well. Andy Flynn has done it all there. Andy Flynn got the move done. He's now on the outside. We'll have a look back at that one very, very shortly, but Andy Flynn must be taking it too wide. Down between 11 and 12, you can see here they are 3 wide. Flynn goes up the inside. He gets Cornu. He doesn't quite get Ridgway. Ridgway does manage to just about hold on, but Andy Flynn picking him up, sticking him in his pocket there as he almost then lost that position back to Dennis Cornu. Tries it again on the inside of Robert Ridgway not long after that, and now they're on that run down into 11-12. Great move from Flint there, 3 wide and still managing to hold on.
Yeah, and the upshot of this is that Denny Cornu finds that he's now suddenly been caught by Clark Williams, because all that squabbling has allowed Williams now in that green and white car to become a factor here. So Ridgway and Flint having their own little squabble of Cornu sort of being mugged in the middle. Now finds that he could be losing another place outside the top 10 if he's not careful. So the Frenchman needs to stay on his toes here and keep Andy Flint in sight here. Ridgway starting to regain his confidence here. Now he's gained 3 places from where he started on the grid, same with Evan Way. So those are the 2 big movers, but Clark has gained 5 places to get up to 11th.
Yeah, Clark Williams in that 11th place, up 5. Biggest gainer is Kevin Zwemstra, who's up 14 places, and he's just got Marcello Kessler in front of him. I've got word on Brent Ruiz. What happened is that there Zwemstra goes, he gets the job done through the S's. Great move from Kevin. Marcello Kessler had no choice but to give that position up. Clark Williams has gone off the side of the circuit and unfortunately has gone round. He's hit the barrier there and has unfortunately jumped straight to the pits. That's going to release Andy Flint and Dennis Cornu, who are side by side. There goes Cornu into 12, and Flint doesn't, unfortunately, he does lose that position. Equipment issue for Brent Ruiz. Something up with my pedals, tried to fix it, but something's broke. So that's why we did not see Brent Ruiz take to the start, which is a big, big moment in this championship, to the point of where Lee Aberdeen may have wrapped it up coming into that final round next week. So stay tuned for that one, because it will be a big, big issue for Brent Ruiz and the fact that he's on a 0 this time around.
yeah, you never really want to see a driver eliminated from a race, let alone from a title contention for that reason. But that's part of the reason why they have the drop score rule in the first place, to allow for drivers being unavailable for certain races or having just horrendous bad luck, like a pedal failure right before the race starts and things like that. So injuries, hopefully he can come back for the final round and you know, make amends for, well, not that he needs to make amends, he didn't do anything wrong, it's his pedals that need to make amends, frankly, but but yeah, for Aberdeen, this is a perfect situation for him as long as he keeps Jakub Olszewski at bay behind him. But yeah, a word on Kevin Zemstra, is a brilliant move on Kepler there, and just continuing to make progress from that low grid position. And there was some support in the chat for Zemstra and Aberdeen, which I think you may have mentioned earlier, from JPBroadcasting Sim Racing. Rob Steinhauser says, "Go Team Hakeem." So Rob is certainly having a fun time cheering him on, because that gap, 5.21 seconds as I speak.
Yeah, it is at this moment in time. Excuse me. Andy Flint, Dennis Cornu, Rob Ridgway, Luca Verani has got Tony Jimenez still tucked up behind him. Raheem Hakeem out in front by 5 seconds. Lee Aberdeen 1.5 ahead of Oleszewski, who has got Mackenzie Roon behind him. But there is Luca Verani, Tony Jimenez. Grids start getting a little bit more spread out, as you can see on the left-hand side. Tony Jimenez, Verani, close battle with Dennis Cornu and Rob Ridgway as well. And they're close together. Carvial and Marcello Kessler is another battle that's coming into its own, shall we say, on lap 10 of 25. This really is and seems very much a race of sort of duration, of the fact that they've got to be able to stay concentrating, because they're quite long laps here. They're 1:55 in these Super Formula Lights, and they've got 25 of them to do. They're going to have to concentrate and make sure they're on it for the whole of this circuit, because this circuit won't take any prisoners if they get it all wrong.
No, it certainly won't, and it's already taken a few. Just ask everyone that got involved at the incident at the end of the opening lap, or Paul Clark-Williams, who seemed to spin out on his own, sadly for him, while looking in a fairly promising position. Nonetheless, in terms of the championship contenders, I have, while they're not running quite at the front, I haven't been enjoying this battle between Verani and Jimenez, with the two of them racing very, very cleanly with one another and swapping positions every once in a while. But the problem is 4 seconds to Mackenzie Roon. They're not really in that podium fight. If anything, Evan Way has been slightly catching them by a tenth the previous lap on Jimenez, and 2 tenths on Verani as well. So Verani and Jimenez almost at this point would be better off working together, as we see in the background. Looks like Cornu and Ridgway are continuing to squabble over 8th place as well.
Yeah, they're side by side at this moment in time. Ridgway and Dennis Cornu, they're coming down into turn 12. Ridgway's on the right in that red and orange machine. Cornu on the left in the black and yellow. Is it going to be Ridgway? It is going into turn 11. Is he going to manage to hold on to it? He does. Cornu tries to force the inside, coming through 13 and 14. He does get it there. Now Ridgway sends Ridgway around the outside and says, if you're going to take it, you've got to go the long way. Well, Ridgway's open to the challenge. Is he going to be able to get through? Going into turn 15, he's not. He's now going to try the outside of 16 and 17. He doesn't. Cornu just makes him aware that he's there and doesn't give Ridgway that ounce of room on the outside.
Yeah, very, very clean racing at the moment between these two. And Ridgway keen to keep making progress as Cornu goes very, very wide on the exit of 19 there. That could get him into a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Dennis Cornu now still under pressure from Mr. Ridgway. Flint's trying to come back and catch up in that final place. In the top 10 is Andy Flint. Cornu does make it through turn 1. He's still with Ridgway in behind him, so Ridgway's got to tuck in. Luca Verani has still got Tony Jimenez battling away. There is a nice little battle developing here. Carvial and Kessler, Bjortland, Biden, and Townsmer are slowly closing in together. So it seems to be a theme here, Ed, as well. They start getting away from each other, and then they start kind of almost coming back into each other, as we're finding out with Dennis Cornu, Ridgway, Flint and Patsky, who seem to be rounding out that top 11 and that bottom half of the table there.
Yeah, you do get this sort of accordion effect where they start to bunch up and battle with each other, then the group ahead can escape. Then it's like I said about Verani and Jimenez. it might make a bit more sense to work together, to not fight each other too hard and sort of just the fastest one lead and the other one gains a bit in the toe down the straights to stay in contention, and maybe strategically think about maybe getting the heat on in the final 10 laps. As here we go, Ridgway up the inside of Cornu once more as Andy Flint is hovering menacingly with Patskay just behind too, but Ridgway has completed that move into turn 12. But Cornu will have to follow now and could well be under threat from Flint before too long.
Williams, so it's going to be a while before he reaches Mr. Williams here in that back marker. So I think at the moment, Allianz, we should be safe. Kevin Webster, however, is putting Eddie Amos under pressure here, and Mr. Amos is not safe for that top 15.
I think Clark Williams is 2 laps down at the moment, possibly 3. The next one he's got lap is probably Patrick Williams. Similar last name, but no relation, I'm assure you. As Zemstra, another brilliant move up the inside into turn 1, and that puts him past Eddie Amos in the Tron livery.
Yeah, but Webster did make it through that time around. Carvial, Kessler and Byland are still fighting it out further down here as well in 16th, 17th and 18th. Oleswinski still 1.28 back from Liabadine. He's still got about 8 tenths to Mackenzie Roon. Luca Varani's opened about 7 tenths. Ridgway and Cornu still going side by side, having a right little ding-dong again as they're on the run down from 11 into turn 12. If anything, it looks like Andy Flint is going to have a go here at Rob Ridgway. He's going to get the move done on the inside. Is he going to be able to hold it? He's got to send it in. Ridgway does give him room. Flint returns the favour, gives him room back, but he did manage to make that move, and Rob Ridgway lost that position to Andy Flint there. Great move down into 11. Not really a lot Ridgway could do. Andy Flint seems to have got the run on him.
Yeah, and Cornu is I think back ahead of both of them then. So Denny Cornu just seems to be really, really quick down that back straight, and that's what's making the difference here. Ridgway does seem to excel in some of the faster corners, and that allows him to sort of stay in play in this battle then.
Once more, and Rob Ridgway, Andy Flint, Dennis Cornu going for it for that final 10th spot that Ridgway does occupy at the moment. Joseph Lucas looks like he's had a little bit of a tap here. Was it on his own, or was there somebody else involved? We can have a look. It looks like complete and utter solo spin from the man from the son of Florida. He's going to go, he's plus applying too much pressure. He's going to go round, unfortunately, one of them painful spins that you know is going to happen, that you just cannot stop. It reverses out the way. Best way to go, spin the tyres up, get it round, young sir, and he's done that, and Lucas can get on his way again. Coming into the last 11, it came out front 6.7 seconds in Liabadine behind him, Oleswinski behind that, then Mackenzie Roon, Varani 5 seconds, Jimenez 8 tenths back from Luca Varani. Evan Way driving in that little bit of what we call no man's land. He's got 2.5 in front, 4.7 behind, and that 4.7 are these guys in this pack here. Dennis Cornu, Andy Flint, Robert Ridgway, Alex Patsky behind them as well. So still all to play for, but they're just getting a little bit spread out here. Be how they can maintain the tyres going into these last 11.
Yeah, exactly, and perhaps that's... first we see round goes Flint. Oh, and there's been a collision. I think Patskay's collected him.
Yeah, Andy Flynn.
Cornu as well.
This is what Varani was talking about, that tailwind going down into 11. Flint then spun it up. Cornu goes in. Patsky comes around the corner. Nowhere to go. But Alex there, literally zero vision coming around the corner. This is what he's looking at. Don't forget that roll, that bar is in the front. He's got no vision at all. There goes Flint. There goes Cornu. And unfortunately, Patsky just, wow, you can't really blame him there, Eddie. He's literally got nowhere to go at all during that whole process.
Yeah, it's painful to watch, isn't it? Because you could sort of see it starting to unfold in front of him, but there wasn't quite enough time to really react, and we got 3 cars just walking away wounded with heavy damage, and Ridgway, the big beneficiary now, because he's got 8th place all to himself. But this all, of course, oh, it's like a Cornu completely crapping. It looks like a wrecked Formula Ford car rather than a IGP Indy Lights car.
He's trying his hardest to get that back to the grid, crabbing sideways, no rear wing, no front wing, and he's like, please just let me get there. Look at that poor car for Dennis Cornu, absolutely battered. Carvey out, and now Marcello Kessler are fighting it out down in 13th and 14th. Patsky's in the pits, Cornu's in the pits as well. Did Andy Flint get away with that? He may have done. No, he has actually already pitted, so Andy Flint did get in, get that fast repair and get back out again. So he's back out on track. Marcello Kessler, Carvey out, and Kevin Byland fighting out now for 14th, 13th, 14th and 15th. 10 to go here, and well, poor old Andy Flint caused a bit of a pile-up that put 2 of his people he was battling out with in the pit lane.
Yeah, it was an ambitious move up the inside, wasn't it? But the rear, unfortunately, wasn't quite planted under braking. Like you say, a bit of a tailwind seemed to catch him out, and it led to disaster, really. Especially for our poor friend Denny Cornu, who ended up getting the most damage of all of them because he was in the middle of Flint's car, sadly. He said Patskay wouldn't know where to go. So yeah, unfortunate tale of woe for the trio. But luckily, all 3 of them still in the race, and they've got going still on the lead lap at least. They shouldn't get in Hakim's way. As look at this, another battle for 20th position unfolding. Tommy Maru just holding onto it from the moment, but he's under pressure from Irvins Tomankins, who try to move there, the Latvian, and Giovanni Solito has got a watching brief on the pair of them as well. So even down here, just for the top 20, the last position in the top 20, it's pretty furious as they're all starting to just try and see if there's a way to take advantage of anyone who's used a bit much of their tyres in the first part of the race. But up front, Aberdeen, with all 3 of his remaining title contenders behind him, it's looking good to seal this championship. He needs to be 11 points ahead of one, or at least 11 points ahead of all of them going into the final round to be mathematically unreachable, is what I've been informed by Ewan. So I think at the moment he's looking very, very good indeed.
Yeah, I think this could be Aberdeen's championship. I don't see anybody getting near him. That one thing for Ruiz has really kind of done him there on that one. Unfortunately, he can't help technical issues. Kev Byland here with Marcello Kessler in the Pizza Fiend livery, resident tablecloth as he was last season, and he's now changed. Byland's gone in though, Kessler's gone in deep, unfortunately into turn 11. That's going to allow Byland to go through. Now is Kessler going to take advantage of the draft on the way down between 11 and 12? Marcello Kessler, is he going to get the job done? He's closing, he does. There goes Byland straight past us in that Braun-esque liveried machine, and Marcello Kessler's gonna hold on. Is he? Byland's trying to come back round the outside. Kessler tightens up the inside. Byland's now going to be looking at taking their position back, going into 13 and 14. Kessler looked like he had that done it. How come he didn't finish that one off?
I think Byland just went super late on the brakes, and Marcello Kessler just completely didn't see that coming in the sort of candy cane pizza car with the candy cane halo on it. But yeah, that was a really, really brave stuff from Kevin Byland to sort of he saw that opportunity around the outside and absolutely went for it. So Kevin Byland, he's going to have to wake up a little bit earlier now if he wants to try and get one past Kessler.
Yeah, he is.
Byland, sorry.
Kessler's going to keep trying. Cornu and Arroyo are literally were side by side. Cornu did make it through going into turn 15. Aurora has got to try and come round the outside of 16, 17 and 18. Not easily done, not something that's going to be possible. And with the speed of Dennis Cornu, who was at the front end of this field, don't forget, it's going to be hard for Dorian Aurora to stay with him. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I don't think it's going to be able to. And Cornu's next person up the road is, of course, Alex Patsky, who also got caught up in with Andy Flint, so that's going to be a hard fight. We'll see how they get on. We'll check in with them a little bit later on. Luca Verani and Tony Jimenez, they have not left each other alone, stuck to each other like Velcro, and they've been in this exact same format for the last 17 laps here, Ed. And well, Jimenez just either doesn't want to get through, or doesn't seem to be able to, or has just not got the pace to get past Luca Verani.
Well, he hasn't for a while, but look at this last lap round. Jimenez was 4 tenths quicker than Luca Verani, and you saw Verani going a little bit wide out of 15 and 16 there, and even into 19 as well. So the tyres starting to wear on both of these cars, but especially the Swiss driver Verani is really in the triple two, just chewing through these tyres at an alarming rate. With still 7 laps to go here.
Yeah, we did say it would be an issue. Some people have discussed pit stops, which would be the first ever time you will see them if it does happen here in iGPFun. That will be yeah, well, it depends on what they've got left. If they're going to go in, it's going to be a quick change, maybe round about 21, 22, possibly. We might see it, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I don't think, although as much as I would love to see pit stops, I just don't think we're going to see them. I think people are just going to try and maintain, manage, and live with what the tyres they've got underneath them at the moment.
I mean, we did see a few pit stops for repairs, and we saw 2 cars flying in this race, one of which is still going, thankfully, in the form of Pat Skay down in 23rd, and a corner, of course. But I think Andy Flint pit and come out in 15th, didn't he? So he's really the only one on potentially fresher tyre. Oh, no, he used his fast repairs, so he's probably on the same set of tyres, isn't he? As you look at Jimenez starting to line up Verani. Verani looking a bit cagey at this point, and Mackenzie Roon has also upped his pace a bit. He was 2 tenths quicker than Olszewski previous lap, who has started to drop off the back of Aberdeen to the tune of 1.83 seconds. It was consistently a second behind Aberdeen, but Lee Aberdeen has really broken clear in the last couple of laps, although he's still 8 seconds behind Hakim, who's done an absolutely extraordinary performance up front to really just balloon that lead.
Yeah, he has. He's done an absolutely stellar job as Hakim, and he does every time he comes in. When the man up front is just literally pulling away all on his own. He's up into turn 1, absolutely nailing it, getting the job done over this man who is leading the championship and will still lead the championship by the end of this race if he can just stay where he is. Olszewski got to try, and if he, oh, that's not helping. Tyre sliding with Mackenzie Roon tucked up right behind him. That's not going to help Jakob Olszewski whatsoever, all them tyres either.
No, certainly not. But Mackenzie Roon, of course, local driver, how dearly he'd love to get on the podium, and Olszewski, who maybe has pushed his tyres a little bit too hard, trying to stay in the rear wheel tracks of his title rival Aberdeen. Aberdeen went in with a big advantage over Olszewski, so the Polish driver needed a bit of a miracle to get in front, or get near him in the stay in contention in the Drivers' Championship. And look at this, Mackenzie Roon lining up a move out through turn 11 and on the back straight towards turn 12.
Yeah, this has got to be Mackenzie Roon's place now. We'll stay on this robot with Mackenzie Roon. He's putting in 2.7, 2.6, 2.5, 2.3. See it on the left-hand side. It's rapidly closing now as well. All the way down to a 10th. We're under a 10th. There goes Mackenzie Roon over Jakob Olszewski. Is going to be done and dusted. Can Olszewski manage to get round the outside? Oh, Roon's gone round! Oh, Mackenzie Roon got the job done, and then unfortunately just turned too tight. And oh, unfortunately for Mackenzie Roon, he has gone round. Is done and dusted for him. He's now lost places. He's down in 6th. He's got Jimenez and Verani in there, and unfortunately for Mackenzie Roon, that was just, he got the job done, and it was just he almost just tightened it up too much and was still pressing the pedal, and Olszewski just said, thank you very much for that, I'm on my bike.
Yeah, he was cooking up a great maneuver, but in the end all he seemed to cook was his rear tyres there. They look absolutely finished now, and Evan Way will now be licking his lips in pursuit of 6th position there. But this of course promotes Verani and Jimenez not into position to keep them in title contention really. That does at least mean they'll be that slight bit closer in the standings to to Aberdeen, but none of them, I think, are going to be within that crucial 11-point buffer that they need to be.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out here after this race and see where these guys end up there. And unfortunately for Mackenzie Roon, he's just got to try and get back onto the back end of this man, the Spaniard himself, Mr. Tony Jimenez. Luca Varani in behind that one. He's in 4th place. Jimenez 5th. Roon is 6th. Way is in 7th there. Andy Flynn there again. He's chasing down Marcello Kessler. Ramex, he did not get the job done. Too much Thunderfoot. Well, all right, Ram, let's be real about it. He got the overtake done. He left a lot of room thinking that Oleszewski was going to come around the outside while trying to apply the power down, and then unfortunately went round in a circle. So he's trying to do, if I showed you an onboard, you can see he's trying to tighten it up to allow Oleszewski room on the outside while trying to maintain the speed that he's got. So, you know, I'm going to give him a little bit of a credit there, Ram, and say he did actually get the job done. He just unfortunately carried it. If you have a look here, he's trying to turn left still, and he's still on the power, so he's trying to tighten up to give Oleszewski room, but unfortunately he puts it round. So yeah, it's a tough one, but Kevin Webster making up another position over Marcius Putnieks. Webster's now up 22 places into 9th, so Putnieks goes down into that 10th place here. Flint and Kessler still close together. Roon, Jimenez and Varani are still 5th, 6th and 7th. We'll keep an eye on that gap. Andy Flint just gets... No, he doesn't. I thought he was going up the inside of Marcello Kessler there, Ed.
Yeah, just trying to force Kessler into a mistake, but Flint was a little bit too far back to pull that one off. But yeah, we saw Kevin Byland pull this trick, and he now seems to have pulled away from Kessler completely. And Andy Flint continuing to struggle to get into the top 13 here and recover from that earlier incident. But yeah, Kevin Zemstra seems to be able to just pull moves every single corner on this Circuit of the Americas, and he's done 22 moves. Well, he's gained 22 positions. He's done at least over 10 moves that I've counted so far. But very impressive drive from the Dutchman from pretty much the tail of the field to just a bit of an overtake show today. And it's really paying off in a spectacular fashion, but not quite enough to really challenge Ridgeway, who's about 8 seconds up the road from him, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately, but never say never. We've still got 4 laps here. Now we'll keep an eye on Hakimi. He is starting his run through the back markers. He's got to 26th place there, which is Maximilian Gerhardt coming into view very shortly. Hakim's there. Oh, Runer's going to make it through over Tony Jimenez, but did Hakim? No, he didn't make a mistake. It looked like, for a minute, at a moment of panic, he looked like he was stopped on the race circuit, but he isn't. He's still going. Runer's made it through over Tony Jimenez after his mistake earlier on. He's now trying to chase down Luca Varani. Can Varani hold on to that 1.5 second gap if he can? But for how long? Patsky and Cornu further down. No, that's Patsky and Celito, sorry. Dennis Cornu 6 seconds back from that one. So something must have happened to Dennis to be 6 seconds, because he wasn't that far back at one point, but he is now. So unfortunately for Dennis Cornu, he's sitting down in 21st. Patsky's trying to have a go at Giovanni Salito further down in the field in 20th and 21st place there.
Indeed he is. Interestingly, Evan Way has also caught up to him, and after Roon has got through, and here's Patske making the move then on Salito, who gives plenty of room into turn 12 there. So Alex Patske, after a bit of a tricky afternoon, at least gaining a bit of ground and putting on a nice move there.
He is through here. So Alex Patske gets the job done. Slightly bit more spread out. Varani has got Roon, who's got Jimenez in the back end of this. Evan Way is just behind Tony Jimenez here, so Evan Way closing in that MRP machine. They're trying to get hold of Tony Jimenez in front on the run down from turn 11. This is where it's all going to make a difference for Way. Is he going to be able to hold it going into turn 11? We've seen what happens with Mackenzie Roon. We've seen what happens with Andy Flint. Is it going to happen to Evan Way? Is he going to be able to get that Silver Formula Light stopped? He has got it done into turn 11, into turn 12. So Evan Way got the move over Tony Jimenez, and unfortunately for Tony Jimenez, looks like Tony could be losing tyres here because he has lost time. Oh, Jimenez in the wall. Oh no.
Looks like he's lost more than just his tyres, James. The entire front wing is gone. Yep, over the curb. The rear lit up like a Christmas tree, and unfortunately, that's another of our title contenders in the wall.
Yeah, well, Andy Flint and Marcello Kessler. Is Flint going to get it done cleanly this time and not repeat the incident he had early on? He's going to hold it. Is he going to be able to do it this time? He does. Kessler gives him ample amounts of room. Maybe some will say too much. The problem is for Marcello Kessler, he thinks he's going to be looking at a double here because he thinks he's going to have deja vu, because Adam Townsworth, who is Andy Flint's teammate in nearly identical livery apart from the tyre rims, you can see Flint has got those pink rims, Townsworth's got the white, and he's now closing in on Kessler as well. So Marcello Kessler thinks he's been overtaken by one Scudiera Racing Forces by iRace. Well, he's got another one tucked in right behind him. So Adam Townsworth there now putting Kessler under pressure as well. So still time, 3 laps to go. This is Raheem Hakim making his way. That's Maximilian Gerber. He is the teammate of Marcello Kessler. Does allow the leader to go through without any problems. So next up is Patrick Williams in 24th. Going to take Hakim a bit of a while to get there as we've got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, so unlikely that Hakim's going to run into any more trouble. Fingers crossed from bank markers. But yeah, it was really a case of that move by the pink machine on Kessler. I think it was just a case of he had the middle of the road, didn't he, Andy Flint? And unfortunately, once he got the run and he controlled the line, really, there was no real point putting up too much of a defence, because Kessler was not going to be able to hold on to that one into 13 by just diving around the outside, because he clearly just didn't quite have the confidence on the brakes. So I think Kessler, as you say, Adam Talsma is probably going to try and replicate that pretty soon and prove that pink is one of the deadliest colours.
Yeah, Adam Townsworth also from the Scudiera Racing Forces by iRace Machines there. He is going to... That is the run that was where it was done. Number 11 of Kevin Byland went in too deep there, and unfortunately just went off a little bit of the off track at the side. He managed to survive. Townsworth didn't get the job done over Kessler this time around. I love Alias there as well. That's the 3rd time Aberdeen has been given a 10-second gap to Hakim here, so it's now out at 12 seconds. So yeah, he's been given a lot of ramming. So poor Tony. I know, but unfortunately these things happen in races like this where tyres were always going to become a little bit of an issue. Townsworth has cleared Marcello Kessler. He got the job done for Adam Townsworth. We're going to have one more here. This is how Adam Townsworth did it. Kessler gives him, well, ample amounts of room to be able to get that move done. So Marcello Kessler erring on the side of caution. I can tell you one man that is not is the ever charging Mackenzie Roon, putting Luca Verani under pressure down from 11. The gap's going to close. I don't think he was close enough at the beginning of the straight to get the move done into turn 12. It looks like though Verani could hang on, but for how long? That's going to be the question, because they're only going to have 1 lap to go.
Yeah, and you see Mackenzie Roon's line there. He gets really wide onto the curb on the entry into 12, just to give himself that little bit more space to turn in from a bit of a wider angle from the outside to try and carry more speed. And he was a second lap faster last lap than Luca Verani, so Verani really starting to struggle. Mackenzie Roon, despite that spin, as he seems just really fired up to try and make amends here, and Luca Verani has only got to hold on for 1 more lap to try and sneak that 4th position and limit the damage. But for Lee Aberdeen, surely he is on that way to putting himself into unreachable position in the championship.
Yeah, he is at the moment. We're on the final lap now. Hakeem has started the final lap. Aberdeen's gone over the line as well. Canberrani, hang on, it's going to be a tough half. Mackenzie Roon coming through on the right-hand side. He's going to get the job done into turn one. Varani's going to run wide there. Is he going to try to cut back? He's not. Surely it's got to be 11 to 12 for Luca Varani now. He's just got to stay as close as he can to Mackenzie Roon going into that section through the S's, going down into turn 11. Then he'll have that one final run here, so we'll keep an eye on this battle, but it looks like Varani's struggling a lot. He's lost 6 temps already. Is he going to be able to stay close enough? 7 temps. Varani's leaking time like a plumber fixing a leaky tap here. Is just falling out for Varani. 7 temps almost going into turn 11. Can he get it in closer? 7 temps is not. It's not going to be enough. Varani could be stationary in that 5th place there, Eddie. Just was not close enough going into that 11.
Yeah, there we go. So Luca Varani unfortunately having that 4th stolen away on the final lap, but Mackenzie Roon, fantastic recovery to really redeem himself after that spin, and once again going as wide as he can into turn 12 there. And I think that he must be gaining quite a bit of time doing that, because I noticed a couple of the other front runners doing likewise. But up front, Hakeem is about to seal a fabulous victory, and I believe his 3rd of the season.
Yeah, Raheem Hakeem is going to come over the line. 13 seconds here. Job done. Finished for Hakeem. He takes the victory. Absolutely amazing. Round 11, but we believe the man that will take the championship is Lee Aberdeen here. He lost to Brent Ruiz earlier on. Ruiz with technical difficulties. Aberdeen comes over the line in 2nd place. Jakub Oleszewski is going to get 3rd, but again, I don't think it's enough. We believe Aberdeen has won. Mackenzie Roon does hold off Luca Varani. Evan Way comes over in 5th place there, and surely for Lee Aberdeen, there's got to be the championship done and dusted for him.
Yep, a point gained on Oleszewski, who was 30 points ahead of going in, and then Luca Varani in 5th. He did, of course, go in just a point ahead of Varani, but that's before the drop score rule is applied, and Varani's worst result was he only scored 26 points at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve early in the season, where I think he finished like a 7th or 8th or something like that. So yeah, Varani is in reality, with drop scores applied on 340 points, which puts him about 17 behind going in, and with losing another 3, that would put him 20 points behind and well outside the 11-point buffer he needed. And of course, the other 2, Rui Brent and Antonio Jimenez, not scoring today at all.
Brent Ruiz there, unfortunately, not getting any points due to technical issues with his pedals.
Jimenez still going, sorry.
Oscar Artinano, Giovanni Salito. Artinano comes over the line. Tony Jimenez there will score points, I believe, down in 23rd place. So, unfortunately, for Tony, it was just a bad error. Yeah, it's not enough. Unfortunately, it's definitely not enough whatsoever. And unfortunately for Tony, comes over the line in 23rd, and Patrick Williams does save himself from getting lapped in 24th. So a great job from all of these guys as well. Let's bring you up the final results here this evening for this race. It is Raheem Hakeem out in front, your winner by 13.4 seconds over Lee Aberdeen, who our understanding has wrapped up the championship in this round. We'll have a look when we get the scores on the doors officially, when we'll bring it to you next week. But Jakub Oleszewski in 3rd, Mackenzie Roon in 4th, Luca Varani in 5th, Evan Way in 6th, then Rob Ridgway in 7th. Kevin Swempster made his way back up into 8th place, up 23 places. Great job from him. Marcis Putnieks in 9th, Eddie Amos in 10th, then Kevin Byland in 11th with Andy Flynn, Adam Townsman, Marcello Kessler and Jeans Carvial in 15th place. From that one, we've got Tommy Maru in 16th, Alex Patsky in 17th, Matthew Gracie 18th, Oscar Artinanu in 19th with Giovanni Salito in 20th, Dennis Cornu in 21st and Dorian Oruro in 22nd, Tony Jimenez in 23rd, Patrick Williams 24th, and then Maximilian Gerbart was the first of the lapped runners. Behind that is Erwin Sumikins, Joseph Lucas, Clark Williams and Jacques Willems, and then Patrick Pieper, Philip Lucas and Brent Ruiz on the back end of that one. But another race done there, Ed, and it's looking almost certain that Lee Aberdeen has taken the championship.
Yeah, pending any protests or penalties, I think it looks pretty certain that the Australian is our champion of season 2 of 2024. So a great performance by him, very consistent throughout the season with 3 wins, of course, and several podiums. I think that was his 8th podium of the season in second, but today, nonetheless, Rehan Hakim was the one who really impressed today. Along, I think it must be said, with honourable mention to Kevin Zemstra for gaining those 23 positions, where he started to place 8th in the end. Some fabulous moves from the Dutchman there. But yeah, great show. I think great show put on today, and a great fight for that final spot on the podium, really, which was pretty uncertain up until a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, it definitely was, but that's going to wrap this one up, guys. Ramex, thanks so much. JWS, Rob Steinhauser for joining us there. Alias, as always, the Holy Trinity, pole, fastest lap, race win for the 2nd time this season for Alias Hakim, Raheem Hakim's fan there as well. I can't remember, Alias, is it brother, uncle? I can't remember which way round it was. I'm sure we've had this conversation. Alias, let me know.
Certainly related, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I would have thought so there, but you never know. Hey, who knows? At the end of the day, here we go. Keep an eye. See, I'm sure he'll remind me next week if Raheem is in this fight. But that's going to wrap this one up, guys, as well. Don't forget, join us later on for another Super Formula series. We're having the big brothers of the Super Formula Lights, the Super Formula for SR4S. They're at round 7 from Magny-Cours. That's a tough circuit in a Super Formula machine, so make sure you tune in for that one. We go live at 10 to 1 in the morning if you're in the UK. I believe that's 7:30, 8:30, I believe, for you guys in the US, so come and check that one out later on. But for now, guys, that's going to wrap it up once more here. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Edward Hunter, and for now, as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.